Good day, my friend. Good day. I want to review with you some things that are going on right now. Very, very important for you to grasp and to understand thoroughly and completely and totally and without exception. What you are seeing right now is nothing like or what I have ever seen in recent political history. Let me just say that right now. This is the happiest day and the happiest times for me, because this is what I have been waiting for, and I've been looking for signs somewhere along the line where things are changing. It started a little bit with Trump, and though that wasn't perfect, I should say, it was something. So I saw that as, okay, that's a good thing. I saw that as Trump, good. He absolutely changed the course of American politics as we know. He's done some things that are nothing short of genius. I know this drives people crazy when I say this, but what he did in terms of his political savvy, whether he meant to do it or not, is without peer. What he did is simply without peer. And I can't say it in any other way. So that was good, and that was great, and I thought that was wonderful. Okay, so that was Trump. Okay. Then it got pretty dark, pretty bleak for a while, and then it started to change, and it's changing right now. And there are two people who are still responsible for what we are seeing. And remember, you don't have to love everything. I always have to say this. Don't look at politicians as though you love them. This isn't a fan club. Look at what they're doing, what they're saying, and look at how they're changing the trajectory of American way of thinking. Okay, this is critical. But let me go back to what I was saying. In September of 2001, my world changed and everything changed. It's like when people put on those glasses to watch the first detonation of the atom bomb. I never took my glasses off. I kept them on because I could see better. I saw what happened. That changed everything. Everything made sense then. Everything. It was a big flash of light that day, being in New York, being on a Tuesday, that day, and seeing what happened afterwards, and following the trajectory of that is something that will never, ever, ever, I can never explain to you. And there's a couple of things that we knew. And here's the thing which made the most sense to me. And I want you to listen carefully. During that time, the Republicans and the Democrats were a little bit more, well, they had their roles memorized a little better, okay? A little bit. First, this is important to know. The existential threat during Republican administrations was, and this is important, this is critical, foreign bad guys. Foreign. They were the ones who posed the biggest existential threat. Foreign. Jihadists. They hate our freedom. 9/11. Terrorists. Guys in caves. People with funny names. People with beards. People who looked, Bin Laden was probably the most evil looking that's surrounding, whatever version you wanted of him. The dark Bin Laden, the left-handed Bin Laden, the right-handed Bin Laden, the Bin Laden, the real dark one. You pick it. He became it. This was the classic bad guy of the right. The right also was, for the most part, manned by the classic neoconservative. Straussian, Pienack, those guys. That was the right. Okay. When the Democrats were in power, when they ran the show, their bad guy, their ghoul, their boogeyman was always homegrown. Ruby Ridge, Waco, David Koresh. You got it? I mean, those were Randall Weaver, militias, the Klan, those folks. That is the classic boogeyman during the right wing, during the left and their version of whatever it is. You got it? It's very important to note. Very important to understand. Very, 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 very critical. You got it? It's important to understand it. It's important to get this. Now it's different. Now we have this amalgam. There is no real separation between left and right. At least at the deep state shadow government level. Both of them have banded together against Putin, pro-Ukraine, pro-NATO, pro-containment. Never before say, whoa, where is this from? Both of them have joined forces regarding surveillance. There really is, there's just, the government today is just nothing but a bunch of people pushing the same thing. Brad here, not sure why it's posting my full name. The Brad. Don't know either, Brad, but thank you, my friend. Thank you. Now, listen to me carefully. For the longest time, I've said to people, these parties, these distinctions mean nothing. Listen to what you say, listen to what you believe, have a core belief system, and focus on it. Right now, there's a couple of things that are happening. And I know people don't want to think about this, but it's true. And they are not without critics, they are not without mistakes, but nonetheless. First, Bobby Kennedy, Tucker. Let me go through this carefully. Tucker Carlson, for whatever it's worth, is the statesman. He's the William F. Buckley. You can do more changing the course of politics than anything. He is, and I don't want to analyze him. I don't worry about that. I'm listening to what he's saying. Okay, so he's here. He represents the right. A lot of air quotes here. And you realize with him there is no right. Okay, that's number one. Next, and this is important, Bobby Kennedy is from the left. Now, what did these people talk about? Biomedical tyranny, biomedical martial law, safe vaccines, all of that stuff. Left and right. There we go. Number one, war. Why are we sending all of our money to Ukraine? Is it audited? Left and right. Again, no difference. You can't see daylight between these two. Everybody I'm talking to right now, everybody I've ever met, could not care less about transgender. Don't care about that. Until it affects children. Sometimes when you're in cities, you'll see this. Sometimes if you pull off, it's so funny, if you ever drive through Jersey, you can pull off Route 3 and they'll say Clifton. And there's a name of the town. Clifton, a town where change is, they say, what? And then over here you have Passaic County. Passaic County, where indifference gives way to whatever. There's some little slogan. Americans, our slogan should be, if you pull off, if you will, to our country, the exit, it would read, we don't care. Leave us alone and we don't care what you do. Leave us alone and you can do whatever you want. You want to say you're a gerbil? Fine. You want to put studs in your eye? That's fine. Doesn't matter. We don't care. It's children. It's children. That's number one. Number two, The only thing that we care about in terms of legislation is when gender changes, gender classifications get in the way of professional sports, scholarships, the actual commerce. That's a different story. Short of that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you something which will blow your mind, and I want you to listen to this. You have no idea. You have no earthly idea how important and how critical and how scared people are of Bobby Kennedy and Tucker Carlson. And Fox News is doing everything in its power to crush him. Watch what Epps does. They have to destroy him. I don't know why. That just emboldens him and makes him bigger in the eyes of his critics, but whatever it is. Understand something. And much of the help, much of it is coming from the halls of Montezuma, or the halls of Fox News. They hate him. They hate him. They were so jealous of him. You know, petty, you know how that thing works. Okay, fine. Now listen to me carefully. The movie Sound of Freedom is freaking people out like you cannot believe. And the reason why they hate it is first and foremost one thing. Tim Ballard is associated with Trump. That's it. Jim Caviezel is part of the right. Jim Caviezel is part of the Christian, Catholic, Mel Gibson, whatever. These people are hated, loathed, and despised. I got to tell you something, and I don't want to go too much into detail, but I got to tell you this one thing, which is blew my mind. I got to see one time, and Mrs. L was with me, a film. Where was that film set? India, right? India. We saw there was a group of people dealing with human trafficking, an organization. And we went to a place, actually saw it in Queens, at this, it was like kind of underground. Not underground, but it was a place that that basically opened up its doors. It was kind of like and I don't want to give too much detail, but it was a place like a restaurant that after hours, and we went in and we saw this screening with women who were trafficked, head of an organization, a woman who was trafficked, a woman who came from another country who basically they grabbed her passport and she was held hostage. These were victims of trafficking, all these women. And it was a movie almost identical to Sound of Freedom, except that there was no Tim Ballard, there was no rescue per se, though there were people trying within this system. But it was identical. Foreign, trafficking, highlighting it, young actors playing these people. Okay. And this person, I've always wondered, a lot of UN money, a lot of whenever the government or globalists are paying your way, remember that. It's like sometimes they want to say, well, if we can't beat them, let's at least control the message by owning the person providing the message. Make a long story short, it was very good. Very good film. It was like 7 years old, but it was roughly. But it was an Indian film, identical to Sound of Freedom, except for some minor differences. Okay. Guess what these same people who are on the payroll from, I guess, globalists, they're saying, this is terrible. Sound of Freedom is horrible. These kids, these actors, you had actors in your movie. Yeah, but these actors are traumatized. No, they're not. They know exactly what they're doing. No, this is called theaters. Have you ever seen horror movie? What are you talking about? Your movie had children. Yeah, but this is different. And Tim Ballard, he's no good. Wait a minute. This is from an organization that lauded this other film, but they were told, you want to get the bucks? You want to stay on our good graces? You trash this. Conspiracy, crazy. I've never seen anything like it. If you honestly told me that they were going to trash this movie, I would have said, there's no way. How can this be? My only beef, very simple, it should have been in this country. Because there's trafficking going on in this country. Why do we always have to go to other countries? All right. Make a long story short, you have no idea the level of corruption we're having here. You don't know how big this is. Okay, so let me just stop. Something is happening here. I don't want to break into it for what it's worth, but something is happening very, very, very seriously. The person that I'm trying to get to, and by the way, what I'm trying to do, and this may sound highfalutin, but it's true. Much like these people from Sound of Freedom, I want to rescue the American voter who for the longest time has been shut down, held captive, scared, disconnected, completely forgotten by everyone. A person who says nobody's listening to me, nobody cares what I'm doing, nobody cares what I think, nobody is even remotely interested in my worldview. No. Yes, they do. One of the biggest things that's happening right now, and I'm telling you, this is critical beyond critical, is what we are seeing right now, because we're talking about rescuing people who have for the longest time never felt a part of anything. And what we're seeing right now, and how it's done, I don't care. Two people, Bobby Kennedy and Tucker Carlson. Absolutely. And I'm reading this. I'm reading this as an observer. I'm reading this as somebody who was actively in part in the front lines of this, and I see what's happening. And we'll talk later about how they have to tighten their message up. But what we need to do is two things. Number one, and I think Bobby Kennedy's doing it more. Let me go through this again. Tucker Carlson is not a politician. He is think Bill Buckley, think Gore Vidal or whoever. Somebody who Mailer to an extent. Somebody who is a person who speaks almost a statesman. And we don't have to worry about these people today, because we have, by virtue of this wonderful thing called the social media, we have people who look at him almost as though he's some kind of a rock star. Fine, I don't care. How do I say this? He's doing a wonderful job in trying to corral and to amass the Republicans so that they are abandoning the Mike Pences, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, Mitt Romney. I mean, that kind of group. The Republicans right now care nothing more, Comer, Jordan, about getting Hunter Biden. There's a word that starts with the word hard, and it refers to a fixation on Hunter Biden. I'm going to tell you something now, and you're not going to like what I have to say. Most people don't really care. They know he's a jadrul. They know he's whatever it is. They're not worried. They don't care about cocaine in the White House. They really don't care. It's not that important. It's not that important to me either. I'm sorry. I know this may sound heretical. I know that what I'm saying is, I don't care about that. Sometimes it seems mean-spirited. It seems focused. It seems like you're in some kind of weird obsession. I don't care about that. On my YouTube rotation, I'm seeing these. Well, we're going to have the whistleblowers going to come in, and we're going to send a letter to Mark Zuckerberg and hold him in contempt because Threads is like, we've had enough of this. You're not doing anything. You don't do anything. You mean nothing. This isn't important to us. Thank you very much, but that's... Laura Ingram cares about this. Albania Hernandez. Thank you. We don't care about this. It doesn't matter. Do it, great. That doesn't matter. What are they talking about? What is Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Tucker talking about? Number one, something that should affect everybody. Biomedical martial law, biomedical tyranny, biomedical primacy, biomedical sovereignty. Sovereignty over your own body. To denude ourselves, to disabuse ourselves from the stranglehold of special interests. Big pharma, big agri, big government that have worked hand in hand through these by taking intel, shadow government, going after citizens who dare to speak the truth regarding this, and basically clobbering them. That's number one. Number two, America doesn't care at all, again, at all, about transgender. It doesn't matter. The only time America cares about it is two things. Number one, when children are involved, especially with prepubescent blocking and puberty blocking and that sort of thing, and hysterectomies, mastectomies, penectomies, orchiectomies, all of those types of things. Permanent, irreparable, irreversible destruction. That's number one. And number two, when it affects the commerce of sport. When girls who spend their lives going to lacrosse camp, looking for scholarships, who spend their time being the best little girls who have in their room, have you seen this? They have ribbons and trophies. And then some guy named Leah Thomas comes along and just completely confounds everything. No. Both Tucker and Bobby Kennedy are no. Number three, trafficking. The destruction of children through predation. But let me go a step further. It's not just children. It's not just sexual. It's labor trafficking. It's begging. It's people who are put in positions where they are unable to work because of domestic trafficking, where they come to this country, and it works something like this. A woman comes, and this is exactly a story I know firsthand, as was told to me. A woman comes from another country. She's met at the airport by someone who was the facilitator. She came from the financial services. Actually came from a country that really was, somebody who was educated and degreed and that sort of thing. Was met at Kennedy Airport. Gets into the car, meets somebody, welcome. As soon as they're on the Van Wyck, driving home, the next thing you know, guess what happens? They say to her something to the effect of this. Give me your passport. You work for me. If you say anything, you will be disappeared. Nobody knows you're here. Nobody will find you. We control the police. We control everything. And now this is a woman who comes from a country where this all makes sense. And you're going to end up working for maybe a family. You might be a domestic. You might be a prostitute. You might be a kept woman. I don't know. You work for us. It might be you're going to be paying your debts or whatever it is. Happens all the time. Here. Mrs. L, one time we met. It was in Queens. And there are these people who at least theoretically, they try theoretically to do good things. They try theoretically. Some of them are names of people who are, you would recognize them, but they're kind of leftist, but they really don't go far enough because they don't, it's as though they're almost place setters allowed to be gatekeepers of sorts who are allowed to pretend, okay, you're going to be the voice of the anti-trafficker, yeah, but you're really not going to do anything. You're not going to you're going to do something, but you're not. Anyway, there was a story not too long ago of a girl, Chinese, here in this country, in Queens, right here, who was, what was she, 15 years old, at a hospital, pregnant with more, 12 with VD, STDs, pregnant, and either sold by her family, taken from her, one of many here in this, here. But because, you see, if you don't look like us, well, those are those people. The migrants, it's not xenophobia per se. But there is a sense of, it's just like in Gilgo Beach. People will never say this to you, but these, what do I say? You know how these people are. You know how these people are, these prostitutes, and what are you going to do? That's exactly what they think. So anyway, I was listening to this, and there were people at this meeting who were crying. They couldn't believe what's happening. That's one of many. This is happening right here. Now, here's the story. And I've given up and trying to figure out, why is it that anybody, look, you can be a lefty, you can think about global warming, I don't care, climate change. Why would you look the other way when it came to protecting children? You tell me and we'll both know. I have no idea. But while Jim Jordan is talking about Hunter Biden, the whistleblower, the LLCs, the money, the transfer, what do you think is going to happen? It's almost like, Jim, do that. You and Comer do that. And Fox News just loves it. Because, Jim, it's not going anywhere. He's already pled to something. I don't know what it is. He's going to claim that he's mentally unfit. Biden is on his way out. Newsom's coming up. As I told you, Newsom's going to be the choice. Gretchen Whitmer, and we said this before, and I saw it yesterday on Drudge, she's going to be it. So that's where your Republican Party is. So what Tucker is doing, whether you like it or not, he's saying, no. That's okay, but that's a distraction. You only have so much. You only have so much to pay attention to. You only have so much. What is your focus? Where are we going with this? And Bobby Kennedy still represents the most interesting person in the world, because what he's doing is he's going in and he's destroying the left, and Tucker is basically pull people up. When Tucker Carlson went, you have no idea what this is. And like I told you, I'm going to tell you, that stunt he pulled with Andrew Tate was stupid. I kind of like what he did regarding UFOs, but he didn't care about that. He kind of did more harm. I mean, if you're going to do a half-assed job, don't even bother. But you know what? That's then. I don't care about that. Just learn from your mistakes. Stop. Move on. He went to a group of people, and when he's in front of this jadrul, Charlie Kirk, who, by the way, is a miniaturized version, Charlie Kirk is in it for one thing. Charlie Kirk. Now, I don't want to be rude, but listen, this is on a crunch time, and I want you to understand something. I want you to understand something, and I want you to listen to me, and I don't want you to get upset. There are people who have absolutely no vision whatsoever other than their own self-aggrandizement. And this is not just politics. It's Hollywood, it's sports, it's everything. You understand what I'm saying to you? Carrie Lake does that. Gretchen Whitmer does that. Other people do it. Kristi Noem she's kind of quiet right now. Trump does it. People on TV do it. Leonardo DiCaprio does it. It's a human thing. There's something so heady. There's something so heady about these people who love to sit around, and the Republican mindset is to remind each other how American they are. All I'm saying was I want to get up and ask these people, did you understand what Tucker just said? Because if you do, most of you are going to be out of a job. Let me give you a little background. Years ago, Niels Bohr and others were trying to explain to people what this business was about atomic bombs with this time of, Oppenheimer. Niels Bohr with a thick Danish, I don't even think he could speak English. I mean, they looked at him and thought, this guy. Niels Bohr was a monster. They're listening to him and they go, okay. And the story goes that after they got done, people were saying, And they were putting their typewriters away. And Enrico Fermi supposedly gets up. Do you understand what he just said? Enrico Fermi, people like Feynman, these were like the cool kids of a brand new world. This is quantum mechanics. Harnessing the cosmic glue that holds the universe together and forcing it into a bomb nobody can be. They said, do you understand what he just did? Do you understand this? You're living in the past. By the way, Eric Weinstein and others and Penrose are destroying string theory. This is as an aside. I love heretical. I love anybody who comes along and says, no, that's not the way that works. It doesn't work that way. So what happened was, I went back to September the 11th, 2001, and I said, I was red-pilled, and I'm saying there is no political party for me. I changed everything. Democrats, Republicans, if it has a name, two sides of the same coin, the left-right paradigm, it doesn't really matter. And what I want to do is I wanted to get up and say, excuse me, all of you people, including you, Kirk, and Judge Janine, and all of the usual suspects, Beck or whoever these people are, they are there for one thing and one thing only. And I don't spite them. I understand it. It's money, metrics, numbers, views, entertainment, self-aggrandizement. Go ahead. I know people who are in the diet business, not to change lives, reverse heart disease. They're in it just to make a name for themselves. I don't have a problem with that. Except that my country is in the lurch. You listen to me, and we're going to win this thing. I guarantee you. And what do I tell you? What do I tell you? Number one, target the undecided, independent, rational voter who has never been talked to ever like an adult. Number one. Number two, go after the people who are going to steal this election. Be ready to go. I know there are people who, and they're good people. You know that Jim, what's his name, Fitton, the guy who says, I'm in my muscle shirt. You see this? What's it, Judas? Huh? Tom? Yeah, Tom Fitton. I'm in my muscle shirt. Thank you, Tom. Can you see it? Can you see what I'm doing? It's a side bicep. Can you see that? Double bicep. Here's a crab, most muscular. Thank you, Tom. Did you see my T-shirt? Did you see him? Yeah, thank you, Tom. Thank you. Working on my vascularity next. I'm a little okay, thank you. Does a good job. What does it do? I don't know. It's done some good stuff. It's wonderful. Want to get rid of some voter rolls? That's terrific. What I'm going to do is I want to have this, where I walk out and I say, welcome. And it starts off like this. I appear to be, it's me. It could be me, it could be anybody else. But the camera's on you like this, right? It's just me. And I'm outside somewhere. I'll just say me. And I say, what's going to be different about this election? Let me tell you why. Last time the Democrats stole the election legally. Remember that. Always say that. They stole the election legally. They stole it legally. They played by the rules. They knew everything. They had the courts covered, the judges covered, DOJ covered. They were ready to go. That's number one. They did it legally. This year's going to be different. Why is it different? Let me tell you why it's different. And then just then, the camera pans back, and there's all these people. Think about almost like Agent, whatever his name is, wearing the black, they're just standing around. These are our teams of lawyers, law firms. They're not announcing who they are. They're not doing anything. We might need them or we might not. We have targeted 400, 500, 150, whatever it is, critical targets, critical precincts, critical areas that we're going to be watching like a hawk. Plus, we have inside help, so to speak. We have confidential informants who are letting us know. We are prepared to move in immediately by having poll watchers. We have some of the most important, just like hackers, we have people who know how things are stolen. And then the camera backs up, and they're all around me or whoever the person doing it is. They're just standing there. All these people, maybe wearing a mask, wearing sunglasses, whatever. We're ready this time. 2020 will never happen again. 2020 will never happen again. When we lose the franchise, left, right, Democrat, Republican, we've lost everything. Stalin supposedly said, you worry about the elections, let me count the votes. I don't know if he said that, but it sounds good. So that's it. You got to understand that, right? There are certain issues. That's it. Did any of these people talk about that? No. Did they talk about things? And okay, fine. And I know everybody loves to talk about Megyn Kelly this, and that's fine. I'm going to be next month 65 years old, and I've been around. See, who said that? Where was that? I've been around. See, I know things. See, oh, what was that great line? Oh, it was from Son of a Woman. I've been around, see? I know some things, see? I understand. And I've seen this, and I've been through this. And I'm not impressed by any of these people. I don't care anymore. The people that impress me are patriots. People who say, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to go in. And they're not perfect, but they're better than a lot. We don't have these anymore. We have celebrities. I don't want any more celebrities. I don't care about this. I'm going to get Tucker, and I'm going to get Bobby Kennedy, Bobby the K, and I'm going to get him in a room, and I'm going to say, listen, here's what we're going to do. Bobby, you're not going to waste your time saying these things. I want you to lay off, stop talking about vaccines. You've said enough. Anybody who has any questions, go back and watch any of your YouTubes. That's right. Move along. Stop it. And Bobby, whenever somebody asks you about vaccines, say, I've already talked about that. Okay, now Tucker, let's talk about you for a minute. First of all, here's what you're going to do. We're not going to talk about you. I know this may be tough. We're going to be talking about where the things are going. And you represent left and right coming together and realizing, guess what? Look, turn the coin. Look, we're the same people. There is no left and right. Even a kid knows if I said, can I have a piece of bread? Yeah. I want 2 pieces. Here. And you cut it in half. Here. Now you got 2. I say, wait a minute. They understand. You want to teach fractions to a kid? Take food and show them. Hey, you want to split this cookie? Yeah. Here you go. Wait a minute. Why split it? Yeah, but that's not fair. I mean, that's not 50%. Kids know this. So what we're doing is you got to explain to people. You got to explain to people rules. You got to say, there's no left and right. Stop it. Now, with all due rights, my friend, by the way, turning point, turncoat, whatever, whoever you are, with that thing with Mike Pence, it's 476 days until the election today. Our goal is you're going to vote for whatever it is, Trump or whatever. Trump, it looks like Trump could very well be the nominee. Let me explain something to you. Listen to me carefully. Trump could be the nominee. Trump could be the nominee. And I also need 300. I need 300 likes. We have 500. You're here. You're paying attention. You're digging this. I need likes, my friends. I need likes. I need likes. I need likes. I need those. I need those numbers. We got to get the word out. Because what I'm doing is I want people to listen to me. And I want people to listen to me and want them to say, hey, I haven't heard it quite put like that. Is he a Republican? No. But believe me, the people who were fighting next to Stalin weren't communists either. Because their dedicated enemy was a different story. Russell Smith saying, I want my country back. I want to crush these people. I want to go out and I want you to do me a favor and turn off Fox News, and I want to go out and I want to get young people and I want to say, I'm going to do something right now. There was a time when young people were the most important thing. In my generation, during Vietnam, the young people who were in the streets basically ended a war. They were so responsible. It was in our music. It was in our culture. Young people cared. When I was in the seventh grade, I had a POW bracelet. It was cool to be aware. Our music, our posters, everything. It was something. I didn't sit around. We had stuff we could, but there was a time to be engaged. And it wasn't about silly things either. And by the way, let me also say something. This is the biggest mistake that the right, and I use that word out of shorthand, what they make, they do not understand that young people are worried about things like pronouns, and there they are. And they're worried about climate change. And you cannot dismiss them. You cannot say, it's nonsense. You can't do that. I want to win. I want to win. So let me just make you understand this. If you think the world is, if you think anybody cares, if you think this Hunter Biden, there was Comer and Jim Jordan talking, we're going to have a big deal about. Did we ever find out who released the Dobbs memo? No. Did we ever find out anything about Antifa? No. Anybody figure out who organized Antifa? No. Did we ever find out how this country, who were the organized criminals involved in the destruction of this country? No. Who is behind this methodology where our cities are being turned into sewers and porta potties, and what's going on? No, you're worried about. We don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. I need 300 likes. I also want young people, and who do I want to? I want young people. I want black people. I want to tell black people there was a time, dear friends, and I'm not going to go through. I'm not going to sit here and talk about reparations. That's no. Because you're not going to get the reparations. They are. Ask the Ukrainian people where the money is for their support. It's in Zelensky's pocket. When you give money to, you're not going to get the money. It's going to go to the California Department of Reparations. And then there's going to be the consulting firm that this one's going to, BLM is going to, there's never been an audit of BLM. Black people have been taken for granted. They have been taken on a ride. They have been abused. They have been completely sideswiped, sidestepped, and ignored since day one. And you know who did this? Your Democrats. Because guess what, Black America? Guess who their target is now? Illegal immigrants. And you don't want to call this replacement. Oh, they're going to replace, all right. They're going to replace you with them. And here's why. These people are showing up and they're dutiful. They come from places that were for pretty bad. And they're good people and they have families. And you give them an iPad, you can see them here in New York. New shoes, backpacks, iPads. Kids walking around. This kid, maybe, I don't know, a month ago, he was in, who the hell knows where he is? Now he's got a top of, how does he have Wi-Fi? I don't understand. Anyway. They're going to go and they've pledged fealty to the Democratic Party. They might get on a bus and they might go to Duluth. They might go someplace because gerrymandering is a part of their, they're going to go in, they're going to say, we've got a census coming up and we want new people here and you're going to be Democrat. Okay, fine. We helped you, you help us. Got it. And don't think you're going to, we know where you are. Okay. Nobody knows who these people are. Isn't that something? We have all these people coming in. We don't know whether they have. And young people worried about COVID. Nobody asked them about their immune history, nothing. And then they're going to go there. So black folks, guess what? It's over. During Trump, black unemployment was down record lows. Number two, gays, lesbians. To the Stonewall generation, you've been completely supplanted by something called 2S-LGBTQIA. It's a joke. It's a joke. And you're nowhere in the calculus of this. Nowhere. Nowhere to be found. You understand what I'm saying? You are nowhere to be found. Nobody cares about you. I need 300 likes. So join us. Young people, what about you? What about your future? Anybody care? What are these people offering you? What? Where's your reparations? Where's your... You're nowhere to be found. You're no... What? Tell me what your future is. Tell me what your future is. They just destroyed education. Everything is... The whole... Everything... Do you know what's going to happen with AGI and AI? Let me explain to you what's going to happen. Do you know what's going to happen with central bank digital currency? Let me tell you what's going to happen. Do you understand what happens when globalists take over? Let me explain this to this is your future. People like me are going to be dead and gone. When the you-know-what hits the fan, you're going to get it full force. You have to do this, left and right. And finally, young people, black people, gay people, everybody, these people are pretending. These are passion play actors. Jim Comer, this one, Jen Psaki, whoever these people are. They're in a cotillion. They're doing pretend. They're like stuntmen. They're creating the illusion, or trying to create the illusion, that there's some political superstructure going on. There isn't. And the two people who are responsible right now, the most important people, are Bobby the K and TC. That's it. That's why I want to grab them, kidnap them, and say, enough with this. Now, TC, I know you've been through a lot right now, but we need you. We need you to tighten up. Here's the message. This is what we're going to do. Number one. And also realize that those people there in that, if you think the Republican Party likes you, you're out of your mind. You think Sean Hannity likes you? By the way, I don't have any first-hand knowledge, but I wouldn't be surprised if he said, thank God this guy is gone. Why? This was my number one competitor. I was king of the hill for the longest time, then this guy comes along. Oh, no. I don't like that. Look how they're reshuffling it in. Have you seen, just walk by and look at a section of any part of Fox News. It looks like PM Magazine. Girls with short skirts and fluffy, it is such garbage. And don't forget, Judge Janine and Levin, don't buy the green fruit. Don't buy the green bananas. Mr. Frey, says, you look dapper today. A lot of us would like to see a Trump RFK ticket. But realistically, who do you think will be Trump's choice for VP? Tim Scott? I'm a 65-year-old and digging it. Well, you know what? Tim Scott might be good. I think that's good. I don't think racial status means that much as much as people think. If I could just do something right now just for the hell of it, my dream would be Bobby Kennedy goes third party. It says, this is for you, Uncle Jack. This is for you, Dad. When he said the CIA was responsible for his uncle's assassination, the CIA is a shadow government. That's what this is. He can change everything. He can shatter this. Because if he goes third party, it's going to go right to probably Trump. And they don't have enough manpower. They don't have enough workers to steal that vote legally. They don't have it. It doesn't work that way. And Bobby Kennedy's own family, they're leveraging his family against him. So we'll see with that. We'll see what happens with that. All right, dear friends, we'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. I got some TV stuff I got to do. You have a great and a glorious day. Remember, do not give up. Do not give up. We're going to win this thing. Focus on what's happening. Ask yourself always, am I going in the right direction? Do I have it right? Yes. Yes. Don't give in to the distractions. That's all, dear friends. You have a great and a glorious day. We'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Don't ever change. And until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.